They are now reporting over 4,000 people have passed away across Europe, including Spain, Italy, France, Portugal, the United Kingdom. The numbers have been so high, the heat wave has been so drastic. But I've also seen reports that India is going to go through the same thing in a couple of weeks, that the United States of America also has a heat wave coming. And so it just makes you wonder. Some people will tell you that it's due to global warming or to CERN or to some extra force that is other than the Most High Yah. But I will tell you that it is Yah. It is his judgment. It is his unhappiness with the earth, but specifically the colonizer nations, specifically Western nations that have pillaged and taken over the entire globe. I mean, you do have to reap what you sow. And the way that Yah does things, he does things in cycles and seasons, and he can allow judgment in one place while also allowing peace in another place, while also doing this in another area that's totally opposite from what's happening across the earth down in the global south. And when I say global south, I'm really not even talking about like Southeastern Asia. I'm really talking about like Southern Asia, India, Sri Lanka, and then countries like Mauritius, Maldives, then obviously the global south, Africa, sub-Saharan Africa, these places that are going to be safe havens in these times. 4,000 people, that is literally enough to take up an entire small city. This is a small city of people that are no longer here in Europe. May they rest in peace. But I just can't even imagine what that must have felt like, to feel like you're just burning from the inside, and just the dehydration, the heat stroke. I don't know what that would have felt like, but it should give us pause to look and say, what's happening on earth? What's happening here? And if this comes to the United States, when it does, because it's only July 1st, okay? New month, but it's only July 1st. You still have August to get to, which is typically the hottest month of the year. And so a reasonable question is, what's going to happen? You know, while we're talking about this, it's crazy because another one of our clients posted in our client group that has about 64 people in it. She said, look, I just landed in Kenya. I just landed in Nairobi. I feel fantastic. It feels so great to be on the continent. It feels so great to be in East Africa. It feels so good to be out of the West. And she is a retired lady. She is an elder lady, something that we have just began to realize. I don't know why it took us this long to realize this, but even in our retention marketing firm, the same thing applies. A lot of the people who watch this channel, after we ran our data analysis with our operations analytic assistant, we found that everybody who watches this channel, 64% of you are over age 45. Now I'm 30, but when I moved to Africa with my husband and my family, I was 24 years old and I have not looked back. Okay, a lot of you guys, you are over 45, and so we came across some people out in public. Some of them have been our clients, some have not, and are just here anyway. But they are people from our community, from America, and they're like, wow, it's so rare to find young people that think like this. And I always find it so shocking because, you know, I'm just used to thinking like this since it's just the way I think. It's just how I am. I thought more young people were like this, but I am now coming to understand, no, 30-year-olds aren't thinking like this. Not the majority of them. The remnant is. But not the majority of 30-year-olds are thinking, let me exit America as fast as possible. Let me diversify and invest somewhere early that's going to give me the same leverage that America gave my grandparents, or that America gives immigrants. Because even immigrants know there's not that much leverage in America. I mean, if there was that much leverage in America still, South Koreans would not be going back to Korea, period. The Chinese wouldn't be going back to China. The Africans wouldn't be going back to like, people are leaving the United States in numbers that are larger than ever before, both immigrant populations and Americans. And this is just another reason I wrote this guide that's on our website. I mean, I wanted to compile the numbers. I wanted to compile the data. I wanted to compile the facts across the board, international facts, the facts from our clients, the data from our clients, and data from external sources that you can read and understand what's really happening. I think so many times on these internet streets, on YouTube, you'll see complaints, or you'll see people just feel like, oh, everything's fine in America. But what does the data say? As a marketing analyst, I'm all about data, data-driven storytelling. This is why my clients love me. And I bring that same tenacity into our media company, into talking to you here, because it's really all about the data. Data doesn't lie. Women lie, men lie, but data tells you the trends, tells you what's happening, tells you where people are going, tells you what people are going to do if you know how to read it. So go to www.journeywithusmoveToAfrica.com/services to read that full guide. It's about 10 pages long. Then if you hit the resources link on the website tab, you will also come across additional resources for you to understand these times and how people are maneuvering. I think the one thing that you can do, whether you want to exit now or exit later, is understand trends. That's where our journey relocating actually began. Back in 2019 to 2020 began with us asking what's going on in the continent of Africa, what's going on in Namibia, what's going on in South Africa, what's going on in Ghana. Those were the 3 places that we thought we wanted to go, okay? But ended up instead in Eastern Africa. And I'm so grateful to the Most High that we did end up on this side of the continent, because it was somewhat unexplored to Americans. Americans don't come out on this side a lot. Americans in the diaspora are typically going to go to the western part. 1, because it's closer. 2, because we hear more about it growing up. I mean, I've met Nigerians, Ghanaians, I've met people from West Africa, Cameroon, Sierra Leone when I was in the States, but it was very rare for me to be like, oh, I met a Tanzanian, I met a Mauritian, I met a Kenyan. These were rare. But again, I grew up in Columbus, Ohio. I don't know, y'all from different states, y'all can chime in and let me know who you met and who you saw when you were a child. But for my perspective, those were the only people that I met. The particular pieces of data and research that you want to look out for on your journey are going to be 1, anti-corruption. That should be your philosophy. Why? Anti-corruption is going to provide you a level of safety, stability, and security in the countries that you go to. Number 2, residency longevity. It does not help to leave Canada, the United Kingdom, America, Germany, France, whoever you're leaving, Australia, wherever, to go to a place where you do not have longevity and have to leave every 90 days, 30 days, whatever it is. That's not beneficial. In the World War III era, that's going to leave you basically at a risk analysis. You're going to have this huge risk gap, and you need to perform a risk analysis to see, okay, do I want that gap to be open where my life is just up in the clouds and it's like, I'm gonna go here sometimes, but then I gotta go there, then I gotta go here. Then there's a reason we've been in Mauritius, Africa for so long. There's a reason that we were in Tanzania for so long, because they have certain residency policies that are favorable towards long-term stability for Americans. Now, if you are of a different demographic, if you're Nigerian, the rules are different for you, right? If you have a Nigerian passport, if you have whatever Caribbean passport, I'm not sure. It has to be specific to your country. This is why we always say when we are serving our clients in our containers, our group coaching containers, it's about what you're doing on the American side before you leave. Typically, we would not be of advantage to you if you have a passport that's like a Mexican passport, a Caribbean passport, somewhere other than America, because I don't know what your system is like. I don't know what your functionalities are like over there, so I can best service American people, right? Because we know what our system is like. We know how to open online businesses using something like Swift. We know how to move our businesses around into different regions inside the United States. We know how to have our agents. We know how to leverage the American AI systems. We know how to leverage a lot of those technology advancements that honestly help us on our journey. Like, not gonna lie to you, there was a time when we were like super like, oh my gosh, like America, blah, blah, blah. But it's beneficial to be an American outside of America. It is beneficial for you to have your U.S. passport, not to live in America, but to go somewhere else that's neutral, that is maybe friendly with America, like a Mauritius, Africa. There's other places as well. Leave them down below if you are in a territory that's neutral and gives you that access so that you have this geo arbitrage lifestyle. And if you're wondering, like, what is geo arbitrage? Well, geo, location, somewhere, a place, arbitrage is basically like a hack. Like, it's a geo hack. Like, you're hacking your lifestyle. You're hacking how you can live in 2 places, operate with multiple residencies for your family's specific circumstances, because I don't know why people also come on this app. It's the strangest thing, especially with all the data out there that just doesn't agree with this. This is how you can make discerning decisions and get truth versus lies. It is 60% lower to live outside of America, especially if you're not going to live in Europe. Now, in Europe across the board, it's usually going to be like 30% lower than America. But if you're coming to the continent of Africa, or you're coming to like Southern Asia, you're going to have a 60% lower cost of living. 60% lower cost of living. And so people get on the YouTube streets, the internet, and they're like, no, it's so expensive to move abroad. It's too expensive to move to Africa. The only people that can move abroad are multimillionaires and billionaires. And it just makes me wonder, because I don't know where they get this information. Now, honestly, it could be because they choose the wrong countries, or they are in contact with people that have made poor decisions. So I don't want to, say that that's not a thing, that, choosing somewhere, like if you were like, I'm going to go invest in Cameroon and they don't have the infrastructure for that. If you're like, oh, I'm going to go invest in Cambodia, they don't have the infrastructure yet for that, then maybe for you that would be difficult. But if you're choosing places that give you a free digital nomad visa, if you have a business, if you're a freelancer, you're self-employed, if you have income coming in, or places that give you a 10 to 20 year residency, it's kind of like, and the residency is $1,000 flat, 10 years. For retirees, for people that are self-employed entrepreneurs, $50,000. So I'm not understanding where people are getting these ideas that it's impossible to move abroad. It just quite literally isn't hard. It's just not. And I've said this in previous videos. If I were to sit here and to tell you, oh my gosh, it's so hard to live in Africa and to move to, it's just not. It's just reality. If you have a strategy, if you're going to neutral countries, if you're going to countries that want people like you there, I mean, even in the Middle East, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, these places are issuing 10-year freelance residence permits if you are a freelancer that has a website, has a portfolio. This is why you need to be an entrepreneur. That's why I'm like, I don't know why people say it's very difficult. They can give their perspectives and give why they believe it's very difficult. But for me, this is why it's very easy and seamless. This is why there's simplicity, especially when you're somebody like our family. I mean, people always ask like, oh my gosh, what about your family? Well, number one, my dad passed away back in 2018. I was about to say 2017. And then my mom and my brother have actually come out of the United States of America multiple times. They lived with us in Tanzania for a time. They've traveled to South Africa. They've traveled to Thailand. They've traveled to Kenya. I have an aunt that lives in Jamaica and did not want to retire in the United States. I have an uncle-in-law who also lives in Thailand and does not want to come back to the United States. And so I guess it's just dependent on how your family is, how you've grown up, how your family is structured, what people do in your family. Because I mean, for us, it's very natural for us to live outside of the United States. It's very easy because there have been people that have gone before just us and lived outside of the United States. For example, my father, when he was a child, they lived in the Philippines. My father, his brother, and my grandpa and my grandma, they lived in the Philippines for about 5 to 7 years while my grandpa was doing his military runs. And so my granny, she's in the Philippines, she don't speak Filipino, but she's making it work in the Philippines. So I guess it's just dependent on your lifestyle, how you were raised. And actually, I was listening to a video yesterday from Anton Daniels on his channel. It was like an older video. I think he had reposted it, but I had never seen it before. And so there was a question. He was responding to a TikToker. There's a question that was like, why do wealthy people not give poor people advice? And he was saying like, wealthy people can't give poor people advice because poor people don't take advice. Poor people, there's a pride, there's an arrogance, there's oh, I already know everything. You tell somebody, hey, you need to start a business. Oh, I already know that. So that's one thing about people who are poor. And I'm not talking about people who fall on rough times and it just takes them an extra, hey, give this person 500, 1,000, then they'll be back on their feet and doing whatever they need to do. That's completely different. I mean, people who are at a state of poorness, who are at a poorness where it's like they'll continually make poor decisions. Being poor comes from poor decision making, right? And so I'm talking about people who it's like they ask for advice and then they don't take it. Where it's like, okay, I'm not sure what else you want. You tell them the advice. Like you could talk to a wealthy person, a rich person, and ask them, hey, how did you get to doing what you do? And they tell you their whole life story. They tell you how they got into it. They tell you what you need to do. And they tell you, hey, it first starts with you working hard, having some freelance income, having a job, then you can invest, and then you can invest in your business, and then you can maneuver like that, master marketing, and then you're going to be able to build your IP, build your ownership. That'll take you global. But, you know, somebody that's of a poor mindset will be like, no, that's not the way I want to do it. I'm trying to do a new thing. I don't want to do it like that. So it's kind of like, like, okay, I'm not sure what you want to hear, but what you want to hear in reality can be two separate things. That's what I got for you today. That's what I have to tell you. Leave your questions down below. Leave whatever you would like to comment down below, because, you know, the mindsets are something, you know, mindsets are strongholds for people, where it's like a lot of people who would like to exit, they just can't exit. One, because they're not obedient to instructions. When they hear wisdom coming to them, and it could be from anybody, if you better be able to listen to a rock if the rock has more wisdom than you. That's literally what it says, I believe, in the book of Romans, where it's written that Paul says, you know, Yahuwah can raise up seed from Abraham that comes out of a rock. Like, you better understand that you can acquire wisdom from anywhere. You can get wisdom if you're willing to listen from anywhere. But that's all I have, because I need to finish some emails for my business. I need to follow up on my follow-up sequence, run my data, run my analytics, run my click reports for my own firm. I do this for other firms as well, but today I'm doing it for myself to see my clicks, because I did a new strategy and my click rates have been it's just been amazing. I mean, I have a click rate right now on one of my emails that's 10%, drawing traffic to my retention marketing firm, tiffygwrites.ai. It's just a vibe. I'm really loving it. And the people that are on that email list, they get all the corporate insider marketing tips, hacks, storytelling prompts. Like, people who are on my newsletter can literally take all of the content. If they were to write it in their notebook, study it, they would come out with a business in the next 60 days that's profitable if they did everything that I tell them to do. If they did every single thing, they would come out with a profitable business just from my newsletter. Because the way that I like to create content, and this is why I've been in business for 10 years, I don't hold anything back, especially when it comes to marketing. I very much let you know how marketing goes, how email marketing goes, how SMS goes, how to check your data, how to check your analytics, how to tell stories. For example, you want to tell stories as if you're someone that's talking to a neighbor next door. You don't want to come across as too academic. That's something that has been very prominent in the marketing world, social media marketing, email, retention marketing, sales. Everybody's understanding that people like the way you see me today with this head wrap on and no makeup. This is on purpose, because I understand in this economy, people want authenticity. You don't want somebody to come up to you with a suit and talk to you about how to do X, Y, and Z. You want somebody that seems real and seems authentic. This is across the board, even from statistics that Metrical is citing. This is a social media analyzer, so I'm getting a little bit more technical. If you are an entrepreneur, then you may know what I'm referring to. But they did a report, like, people want authentic content. Some of the people that are making the most money in their businesses right now are sitting in their living rooms, on their rugs, filming content for social media, booking sales, quiet sales or loud sales. It really doesn't matter. Like, there's a lady who went viral, and she has her email marketing automations in place. She has all the back-end systems in place, and she was literally in her living room, sometimes on her kitchen, sometimes outside of her house. Like, she's not anywhere super fabulous and gargantuan. She is literally just at her house telling you how to make videos. So this is what I do for my audience on Instagram, sitting at my house in my villa with a pool, telling people how to make money with email marketing. And the people who get it, get it. The people who don't, don't. But that's about it for this video. I have some stuff I need to get done. It's almost 12 p.m. here. Try to remember the rest of what I need to get done. My emails, check on some onboarding files. Yeah, I think that's about it. And maybe look at my blogs and see if I'm going to publish another article today. So I will see you in the next video. Shalom, shalom. Check out the links in the description if you have not already. We have guides, we have resources, all down below. Pick and choose which one is best for you at this moment. See ya.